Administrator, thank you for being here today, for joining us, and I want to thank you for coming down to Louisiana in the aftermath of Hurricane Ida. We spent some time together in St. John Parish, and I really appreciate you doing that. And I also want to tell you that I appreciate the comments you made a little while ago about lowering, what did you say, eliminating barriers to access for assistance. I think it's critically important, and it is something that needs to be addressed. I've got some concerns that I want to discuss with you, though, related to Risk Rating 2.0. So I listened to you talk about underserved communities, marginalized communities, and under Risk Rating 2.0 that I want to make note, these massive changes did not go through Congress. They did not explicitly go through Congress. This dates back to the Obama administration who shelved it, the Trump administration shelved it, and now the Biden administration has chosen to move forward. One example, we had a house in Larose, Louisiana. Preferred risk, $572 a year was their rate. There was a clarification because they were going to make their policy effective September 30th. They actually had to move it to making it effective October 8th, roughly a week later. And the rate went from $572 to $5,531. We've got other examples where folks have gone from $560 preferred risk policy to $7,000, $8,000, and $9,000 a year. I'm having a lot of trouble understanding how you can be talking about equity and addressing marginalized or underserved communities whenever FEMA is thrusting, administratively, is thrusting these types of actions on our constituents. Could you please respond?
Absolutely, Congressman Graves. So Risk Rating 2.0 really is about equity. And in our previous version of our NFIP program, every homeowner had the same level of premium and the same level of increase, regardless of what their risk was to their property. What Risk Rating 2.0 does for me is a couple of things. From the equity side, Risk Rating 2.0 now takes into account your unique specific risk. And so you are only paying for the risk that your property has. And so it's specific to that. And individuals that have homes that are in lower risk areas are not subsidizing homes that are in higher risk areas. But I think what's more important about Risk Rating 2.0 is that now homeowners truly understand what their risk is, which means that they have a better idea of how they can plan to protect their family. Now they know that they are actually at a higher risk or in a higher risk area and can take appropriate measures to that.
Madam Administrator, I want to be really clear. I totally agree with you in conveying risk to property owners, but let's go through a few things. Number one, when these folks built their property, in most cases, they built it at the FEMA base flood elevation. They complied with FEMA standards. This isn't a car or a table that you just move. This is a house. You can't move a house, or as you're aware, using ICC funds limited at $30,000, it's not near enough to actually elevate homes. Number two, you're talking about charging people for risk. In my home state of Louisiana, we've lost 2,000 square miles of our coast. 2,000. That's like the state of Rhode Island being wiped off the map. That is not because of the actions of our constituents. It's largely the responsibility or actions of the federal government that have done that. Similarly, we're draining parts of Canada, New York, Montana, and others, one of the largest watersheds in the world. They're sending us more water. Again, not things we can control, yet you're charging our constituents for it. First Street Foundation did an analysis looking at the rates under Risk Rating 2.0. They found in their analysis that the state of Louisiana was the only state that was actually overcharged, that Risk Rating 2.0 overcharges Louisiana. We asked your front office for an explanation of that. We asked for it before our April 1st meeting, and they failed to provide us a response. I want to ask if you could please get us that information. Lastly, Administrator, look, I know you got a heck of a job, and I heard you rattling off statistics about the number of disasters. This whole thing about coming in and trying to address inequities. Look, at Wall Street Journal yesterday, President Xi of China, he has abandoned their common prosperity initiative because he's concerned about the actual impacts. We've got to make sure we're moving forward on a merit-based approach. Those that have the greatest impacts are being addressed, and I'm very concerned about the lack of transparency in terms of how this is going to be done, if it's going to distort impacts or distort winners and losers here. I'd ask for clarity on how that's going to be administered by FEMA moving forward. Yield back.